Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is giving states the go-ahead to do something a lot have been wanting to do for some time, betting on sports. Colin McShane has more.
Well, New Jersey, Neil, headed the headed up the effort to get this whole thing passed, and in fact was the state in question here. But it could have ramifications, this ruling, far beyond New Jersey. New Jersey going on for 6 years. Governor Christie, who's now the former governor, had really headed it up. And, I think he said earlier today he was proud to have fought for the rights of the people of New Jersey. And this did become kind of a states' rights case, so it was kind of interesting.
As well for the money. I mean, it could raise a lot of money. Right?
And that's the second part, is the financial part of it, like at Monmouth Racetrack in New Jersey. I think they're ready to go here in a week or two to get the sports betting up and running, because they've been anticipating it for so long. Yeah, it could raise a lot of money. So it's like the estimates are every year it's about $150 billion around the country in illegal sports betting. Now, they passed a law federally in 1992 that didn't allow the states to authorize new sports gambling operations. Nevada was grandfathered in. They were exempt with all the gambling that goes on out there. So you had to go out there to do your gambling. But a lot of states want in on it. So in addition to New Jersey, you have a few others that have already passed laws. 3 states have passed laws, and 15 others have bills pending. Whether they pass or not is a question. But, you could easily have 10, 15, 20, maybe even more states that get into the sports gambling business. The question, I was talking to an analyst right before I came down here, Stefanie Miller at Hyde Capital Markets, and she was saying that the thing that might hold it up, everybody's very excited about it today. The casino stocks are way up and that kind of thing. The thing that might hold it up from really opening up the floodgates is some of the local politics still, because as much as it is a states' rights case, now it goes to these state legislatures, and we'll see how many can actually pass it and how many are still kind of reluctant to go down this road. But
that's
a lot of money.
So even though the Supreme Court says, okay, it's okay.
Yep.
States individually have to say it's okay with that.
Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia have already passed, in addition to New Jersey, they've already passed bills that would allow sports gambling. It was just contingent on the Supreme Court. 15 other states have bills pending, but some of those might not pass. Some of those, and she was saying this to me, some of those could get held up because it's a little tricky. Some of the state legislatures, in particular out in a state like California, where there'd be a lot of money on the line. There's some interests out there that are fighting it back against it fairly heavily, whereas the experts don't expect it necessarily to pass there. So today's a good day for the sports gambling industry, for the casino companies who can move into the states that do pass it. The long term, we'll see. It's a question, kind of mixed. There'll definitely be, though, a lot of money to be made short-term in these states that do get it passed, beginning with New Jersey.
This could just be me, Colin, but it's a case of maybe be careful what you wish for.
Right.
If this opens up a huge potential pool of money, wouldn't the federal government be interested in its little piece as well?
Well, in terms of the taxes and everything else, yeah.
Everyone else play in.
I guess everybody gets. That is interesting. I guess everybody gets a piece.
Of what did you say? Like
$150 billion a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's the tax.
You do the math. Right?
That is the moneymaker, though, for the states and potentially for the federal government. It's a lot of tax revenue coming in. You think about some of these sporting events, and that's another thing the analysts will tell you, is that the sports leagues themselves, the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, but also the NCAA, they'll all come out, and the NCAA actually was a party to this lawsuit. They'll come out and say, we're not big fans of gambling, or we're against it. But they also could be big winners in this long term, because gambling, as it is, even illegal gambling or the legal gambling that goes on in Las Vegas, that raises interest in these games. You could have a random game at a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night that, half the people are not, who couldn't normally care about. They're not fans of the teams, but because they can bet on it, that raises the interest. So there's a lot of money to be made for the leagues too, even if they're kind of look at it and say, well, we're not in favor of gambling on moral grounds, whatever it is.
But if you're, let's say, some people do this apparently with March Madness, they have office pools.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. Would they be caught up in this thing if they were to establish local or even national taxes? And I'm the one throwing in the national tax. It hasn't even been talked about. Or maybe dreamed about by some. Then what?
They could do it locally, I would think, in the state of New Jersey. You could go down and have your pool and do it all on the up and up, because that's the place where you can place your bets legally, like you can do right now out in Nevada. You can go out and bet on a game, or you could go out and put your $20 on the Mets winning the World Series and watch it go away like it does every year. If you have a friend going to Vegas, now you can just go down to Monmouth Racetrack and do it.
The season is still young. All right, thank you, my friend. In the meantime.